Martha Halliday. No, this is not her house. It's the home of Harvey and Emma Foster. Martha is a day worker, and once a week finds her here cleaning, scrubbing floors, and helping Mrs. Foster with the washing. There was a time when Martha had a home of her own, a husband to look after her, but that's all in the past. Circumstances and pride have forced Martha to accept whatever work she can get, and among her many employers are those whom she had known in better times. Martha and Emma Foster had gone to school together.
Martha?
Yes?
Oh, have you about finished in here?
Just about. I'll do the kitchen next.
Martha, I want to talk to you.
Yes, Emma?
I won't be able to use you after today.
Why, I don't understand. Have I done something wrong?
Of course you haven't done anything wrong. I can't tell you how much help you've been. It's going to be difficult to get along without you.
Well, then why?
Just that, well, I can't afford to pay you. Things haven't been so good for Harvey. He hasn't worked in months.
Don't you worry about it. Just pay me whenever you can spare the money.
I never knew another person like you. I know how every penny you earn, how much it means to you. And I wish I could be unselfish like you.
Oh, we won't talk any more about it now. There isn't time. I've got a lot of work to do.
Martha, you're still working for me, and I feel like talking.
About what?
About you. You've got to start thinking about yourself for a change. You're not getting any younger, you know. And Mabel Cummings was telling me about a Mr. Edwards. She says he's a very nice man.
Yes, he is. He's a fine person.
You two have been seeing quite a bit of each other lately, haven't you?
Well, we've gone to the motion pictures and to a church picnic.
I understand he's very fond of you.
Emma, if you're trying to make it...
quite well-to-do, and you could have a home of your own and somebody to look after you. You don't still think the doctor is alive?
I don't know. Mistakes have been made before. The War Department only reported him missing. They've never had any proof that he was dead.
But it's been so long.
I can wait. I don't mind. My work keeps my mind off things. When Wallace comes back, it'll all be different. Oh, I couldn't be married to anyone else. To another man, I'd just be a middle-aged woman. But not to my husband. I helped him study when he went through medical school. I struggled with him through his internship. Helped him hang up the shingle when he opened his office. I'll never forget the suspense of waiting for that first patient. Memories keep people young. And Wallace and I have so many of them.
I understand. And I'm sorry I brought it up.
Oh, you needn't be. That's what friends are for, to try to help each other. This would be a mighty lonesome world if it weren't for friends and family. Dear, I haven't even started that stack of dishes in the kitchen. It's a wonder you don't fire me. Harvey Foster, you startled.
Oh, hello, Martha. I'm sorry. Trying to sell gadgets house to house is the toughest kind of job. You know, I came pretty close to selling one of those things yesterday.
Oh, don't you get discouraged. Just keep right on doing your best.
Well, anyway, now I can appreciate the steady job I had with old man Reynolds.
You know why he let you go?
Oh, things got slow. They didn't need me.
Don't forget I work for the Reynolds family, too.
Oh, so you do know then. But I haven't taken a drink in months. I'm sure I'll never touch the stuff again.
That's just what I told Mrs. Reynolds yesterday, and she said she'd speak to her husband. I begged her to do it right away because I said you'd be in to see him this afternoon.
You honestly think he'll put me back to work?
Well, he'd better. I work for the mayor, too, you know, and Mr. Reynolds wants a favor from his honor.
You're a real politician yourself, Martha. If you ever want to run for mayor, you got my vote. I sure do appreciate this.
You'd better get going.
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, hey, I don't need to take this stuff along. Ditch it for me, will you, Martha? Yeah, and don't tell Emma I was here.
I won't.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks.
I'll get it, Martha. Hello, Mrs. Foster. Why, Jane, dear, come in. I thought you were at school.
I understand my mother's here.
Yes, she is. She'll be so surprised to see you. Martha! Martha!
Yes?
There's someone here to see you.
Jane! Jane, darling.
How are you, Mother?
Oh, I'm fine. It's good to see you, dear. But why aren't you in school?
Well, I had something very important to talk to you about, and a friend was driving into town.
Oh, you sound as though it's something serious.
Well, it is.
What is it, dear?
Well, I don't know how to say this, Mother, but it's been bothering me, you doing this kind of work.
And you came all this way just to tell me that?
Well, it isn't something I just thought of. I lay awake nights. It isn't right. Oh, don't think I don't appreciate all that you're doing for me and all that you've done. It hasn't been easy, I know.
Well, you've never heard me complain, have you? Well, I don't mind doing it. Honestly, I don't. If I had a home of my own, I'd be doing housework there. Now I'm being paid for it, that's all.
I wish I could smile at that. But, Mother, I want you to be like the mothers of girls I visit.
Well, I can't be like anyone else, dear. You mean about the work I do?
Yes.
I wasn't trained for any other sort of job. Housekeeping's all I know.
Well, you could go to Chicago and live with Aunt Julia.
Oh, but I'd be so far away from you, dear. And besides, with my tiny little income, I couldn't afford to keep you in school.
You won't have to, Mother. I'm going to be married.
Married? But Jane, dear, I had no idea. Tell me about it. Who is he?
Well, his name's Frank Thompson. I met him at a dance. He's a pre-med student.
I like him already. I'd love to have another doctor in the family. When am I going to meet him?
Mother, I don't want to hurt you, but somehow I hope you'll understand. I didn't tell Frank much about you.
Oh.
You don't understand. I knew you wouldn't.
Oh, yes, I do, dear. I understand. You mean you don't want him to meet me?
You're the best mother in all the world, the most wonderful person I've ever known.
Jane, dear, I'd sort of planned that when you got out of school, we'd spend time together. Of course, I'd expected you to be married someday, but then I'd looked forward to having a son, too, not losing a daughter.
Oh, I don't know what to say. I'm so mixed up.
People always get mixed up when they're not honest with themselves. And you'd better be honest with your young man, too. Suppose you don't tell him about your mother now. He'll find out about it someday, and then it will be much more difficult to explain.
If you'd only do as I ask. Go and live with Aunt Julia. It will solve everything.
I won't run away. I've nothing to run away from, and neither of you. You say that I don't understand. I'm afraid it's you who don't understand. People aren't judged by money and social position, but by what they really are. Jane, dear, you have a heritage that you should be very proud of. And I'm sure that Frank, if he's really a worthwhile person, would think a great deal more of you for being honest.
I'd be afraid to tell him. I don't want to lose him. Social position and money are very important to me.
You've never said that you were in love with him.
Of course I am. Any girl would be.
Jane, you're making such a mistake. For you're marrying an ambition, not a man. Why don't you give yourself a chance? Why, there are plenty of nice young men right here in this town.
They know me too well. They know you.
I'm sorry, Jane, that I'm such a problem to you.
I guess there's nothing more for me to say.
There's nothing more for anyone to say.
Goodbye, Mother.
Goodbye, dear.
Jane, I thought we'd celebrate. You're surprising us like this.
I was just leaving.
Oh, you can't go now. What are you doing home, Jane?
Well,
Jane has just told me the most wonderful news. She's planning to be married.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, Jane, do sit down and we'll eat and drink to the bride-to-be. Oh, Jane, this is great news. And it's wonderful for your mother, too. Know that one house isn't usually big enough for two families, but in this case, I know it'll be different.
I don't think my case is so very different.
Naturally, as soon as you're married, you'll want your mother to live with you.
Emma, please.
Now, Martha, don't you try to hush me. Jane, I never could understand why you didn't get yourself a job. You'll never know what your mother's been through these past years trying to keep you going.
I hope you won't think I'm rude, but I must be getting back.
Run along, dear. I understand.
You understand what?
I understand my daughter doesn't need me anymore.
I'll get her. Hello. Yes. Yes, she's here. Jane, it's for you.
How did anyone know I was here? Hello? What? When did it happen? I do need you. I need you so much.
And so Jane needed her mother after all. Who was that phone call from? And what had upset Jane so terribly? See tomorrow's episode in the life of Martha Halliday.